You need some motivation. I get it. You're trying to get a subject to deal. You're either investing or wholesaling and trying to get a subject to deal. You're trying to take over somebody's low rate mortgage. But guess what? You're calling and nobody's answering. You're making offers and you're getting a bunch of rejections. And when you find a deal, it just falls through. So let me give you a little bit of motivation. Let me cheer you up. Let me get you hyped to get back on the phones and start calling and start closing more subject to deals. Here's the thing. 82.4%. 82.4% of all mortgages are under 5%. Yes, that means for every 5 mortgages, 4 are under 5%. We're talking about mortgages in the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. That is amazing. That makes for a great subject to deal. So if you can just get a hold of somebody, if you can just make one more call and figure out if they have a mortgage, more than likely it will be a good subject to potential deal. So don't give up. Keep calling. One more dial, 2 more dials, 3 more dials. Keep on dialing. But here's the thing. What if a seller answers and he doesn't have a mortgage? Maybe he owns his home free and clear. Well, yes, you should be offering seller finance. Never let a deal go to waste. But if we're talking subject to, 2/3 of all homes have a mortgage. So when you're calling, 66% of the time, the seller is going to have a mortgage. The other 33%, you offer seller finance. But 2/3 of the time, you offer subject to. And 80% of the time that you're offering subject to, you know it is probably going to be a good potential deal. So what does all that even mean? It simply means this. You ready? Here is your motivation. If you call somebody, 50% of the time, you're going to have a good subject to potential deal. 50% of the time, every 1 in 2 calls, every other call, if somebody just answers and you can pitch them subject to, you know it can be a good deal. They will have a mortgage and they will have a low rate mortgage. The odds are in your favor. You can do this. Also, if you're liking this video, please make sure to subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. I am so happy and I am so thankful for every single one of you. Okay, so back to the motivation. So we know that half of the calls that you do can be potential leads. But in order for you to make this a lead to a close, in order to create the best 10 on 10 subject to deal, there is 2 other things you need to negotiate. If you watch my 5, 10, 12 video, which I link right there, you'll know that there's 3 things that go into making a great subject to deal. One of them is the interest rate. The interest rate needs to be under 5%, right? 5, 10, 12 deal. And we have that. But what about the other 2 parts? Well, you need to negotiate a low entry fee, an entry fee under 10%. What that means is that you need to get the seller to have a very low down payment. Not a lot of cash to the seller. Try to push for seller financing. Try to pay over time, but don't give the seller too much cash too soon because that will ruin your deal. That will make it very tough to wholesale or to just buy. And the last thing you have to do is make sure the property is cash flow positive. Make sure that the cash on cash returns are more than 12%. You can't fully control these numbers, but you can do some things to make them work in your favor. You can run the numbers for different disposition strategies. So yes, make sure the long-term rental returns are more than 12%, if possible. That won't work everywhere. That won't work for every property in every state, but just try. And if it doesn't work, also check the short-term rentals, the mid-term rentals, the rent by room, assisted living, whatever else you want to do. Check your other options and try to make that property cash flow more than 12%. So that's it. That's your motivation. Go and call. Half of every single call that you're going to make will be a potential lead. You just got to get them to answer and say yes. If they can just say yes, now negotiate a low down payment, try to get some high returns, and you can wholesale that deal for tens of thousands of dollars, or you can keep it, invest in it, and you'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars over time. In the next few decades, you would have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions. That's the beauty of real estate. But make sure you're finding great deals. That's my motivation to you. I hope you're fired up. I hope you're just ready to go. Go get on those phones, go make some dials, and go get your next subject to deal. I'm Finsinek, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.